So it's a bit of a shame today that we don't have Zach here for the 4th of February for today's Stoic quote. So 4th of February.
Oh, come on.
Never mind. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yes, it is.
Who then is invincible? The one who cannot be upset by anything outside their reasoned choice. A nice short one today from Epictetus. We like a short one.
We like a short
They
one.
ring around your head
Yeah.
like a mantra. So you can't control whether a prospect says yes. But what can you control?
You can control the tone of your voice, the output. You can control the techniques that you use and everything that you say in between. And one of the things that I think comes to my mind is it's very easy to be the telephone monkey. Oh, you're not interested? Okay, bye. Oh, you're not interested? Okay, bye. You're not interested? And that's not what sales is.
No.
Anyone could do that. That's just looking for the one person who might be in the market at the right time. That's not what you're there to do. If you think when a prospect answers the phone, I like the term, it's the inner gatekeeper.
Yeah,
that answers
we love that.
the phone. So you're not through yet to the human being. If I just approach you in the street and go, sorry, Jack, have you got a minute to talk about something? And you don't know who I am. Your brain goes to, who is this? What's it about?
Are they going to bore me? Are they going to sell me something I don't need? Are they going to eat me?
Exactly. And then what do you go to there? You go to, how do I get out the conversation? And perhaps in your British politeness, it's, yeah, sorry, I'm not interested right now, thanks.
Yeah. And salespeople get fighty. What do you mean you're not interested? You don't know what it's about. How can you say you're not interested yet? And it's like, no, we have to understand we're talking to the chimp part of the brain. Like a lot of the time when you hear an objection to start with, objections come later in the sales process. But if you hear something and you're calling it an objection, it's not. It's a knee-jerk reaction.
Exactly.
It's that inner gatekeeper. You know, like have you seen the film Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Which one?
Well, the original.
Of course I have.
Charlie Bucket, Grandpa Joe. What a piece of dirt. But you know,
How did he get out of bed so easy?
don't know, but DWP, they're
Yeah,
watching.
exactly.
Yeah. And you know Veruca Salt, when they're trying to work out if it's the egg. So that's what the inner gatekeeper's doing. Are you a good egg or are you a bad egg? Are you going to bore me to death or are you actually going to offer me something of value? So a lot of the time, like you say, we're not having that human conversation yet. And it might take a little bit of time. And they say, no, I'm not interested. I'm really not interested. We have a technique that we love.
Yes. So the first thing to do, and this is to Epictetus' point around being invincible. If someone said to you, yeah, look, I'm not interested, the first thing you should do is say, look, yeah, I appreciate it. I've cold called you out of the blue. Not everyone is. And that's called welcoming.
Yeah.
Very hard to argue with me then if I welcome it. But your point before was, well, what? You haven't even heard what I've said yet. That's easy to argue with.
Yeah.
If I go, yeah, get it. Look, not everyone's going to be interested. That's the first thing, welcome. The next thing is permission to ask one last question. So it's like I'm walking towards the door. I'm like, look, actually, just before I go, I couldn't ask you one last question, could I?
The door opens a little bit. The head pops in.
Head pops in. They go, I think 99% of the times people go, yeah, go on then. And then you've got one last question to ask. So it might be, I suppose if someone did have to push you on it out of A, B, and C, what problem would you say might apply in the future? And they say, oh, well, probably getting in front of more people. That's it. I wasn't expecting you to say that. That's really interesting. What's made you say that? And then before you know it, we're back in the conversation. The person's not in that fight or flight mode anymore, and we're back into a real conversation. And I reckon a lot of meetings in our teams get booked from that point on.
Yeah.
If we were to abandon that bit, you'd lose maybe 60% of the meetings that are booked.
Yeah. You're just slowly getting them to open up. Like, I'm a firm believer that anybody can book meetings. Like, if you call enough people and you just said, I'm calling about R&D tax credits. I'm calling because I want to try and sell you a new website. If you did enough calls on a weekly basis, you'd book meetings and you'd probably make sales. But that's transactional. That isn't selling.
No.
That is just like, okay, well, let's send 1,000 or 1 million emails.
Yeah.
And someone will say, yeah, you know what? And they'll guide themselves through that process. Your job is to ask those questions that get the conversation moving, that gives you a few breadcrumbs and you think, oh, I'm going to follow these. So I think that it's a brilliant technique. If you get into the conversation, what can you do to stick in it a little bit longer? The best salespeople stay in it a little bit longer and get a little bit more out of it. Are there any other techniques that spring to mind to get people talking a little bit more?
I think the one of the big ones is salespeople get into this habit of they ask the question, the person answers, they'll say something customer servicey like, okay, great.
Yeah.
And then move into the next question. But often there's layers of depths that we can go to, right? So let's say you said, yeah, I'm doing a lot of things quite manually at the minute as part of a conversation. The prospect says, yeah, I suppose, yeah, we're doing quite a lot of things manually at the minute. Rather than going, okay, well, what do you mean by that? I root down there, I put the anchor down and I say, okay, sounds like you've got something in mind. Sounds like something's happening. Or I might go emotional. Feels like that's quite frustrating.
Yeah.
Feels like that's slowing things down. Because I'm just rooting down and making sure, let's make sure we really understand this bit before I move on. A little tip I would say for salespeople, and you'll find that this really helps you, before you ask the next question, make sure the person feels heard.
Yes.
And that might be saying their words back to them. Might be using a label like I was saying there, like a feels like, sounds like, seems like. But really make sure you do that before you ask your next question. Otherwise, it can very quickly feel like an interrogation.
One lad in our office used to have a photo of a pneumatic drill on his desk, and that was there to act as a reminder to go deeper and deeper and deeper, because it's very easy to just go across.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got a problem. Give me, yeah, oh, cool. But what does it really mean? What's that root cause? Tell me everything. I'm the therapist. I want to really understand your world. And if I understand it, then I can see if I can help. I'm not pushing what my solution is. I'm here to help.
Wow. Beautiful.
I really am here to help. I've been Jack Frimston.
I've been Zach Thompson.
Remember, you will die.
2 eyes, 1 trap.